Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And as I said, next week we hope to have Sean Mann. He's the coach, Geelong coach, by the way, from his school teacher / coach at the soccer program at Western Heights College. He's also the assistant coach at North Geelong Warriors. He's a state coach indeed, and he is also the coach of the Victorian Boys Under-16s team. There's one of two or three teams. And he's coaching the team, which is comprised mainly of the regional Victorian representatives. And hopefully he will join us next week on next week's show to give us a full rundown of how the Victorian teams, which featured the Geelong boys, went at this year's National Youth Championships currently being played in Wollongong. But in the meantime, we're going to catch up with someone who had some great success last week during the school holidays. The Football Victoria Girls Cup was held at the Keilor Park Football Club last Thursday and Friday. An under-13 girls team represented the Geelong region playing in the Football Victoria Cup. Most of the girls in the team played together in 2023 representing the GRFC at the Country Championships, and the team was made up of girls from Surf Coast, North Geelong Warriors and Geelong Galaxy. Over the 2 days, the girls played in 4 group stage games. They finished second in the group stage, only losing one game going down to Keilor Park 4-0. The girls faced off against Westside Strikers in the semi-final, walking away with a 1-0 victory. The girls then played against Keilor Park once again in the grand final, leading 1-0 until the last 2 minutes. Keilor equalised. Then the girls successfully walked away with a thrilling victory, winning 4-3 on penalties. Wow. What a way to win, what a way to lose. But to tell us all about that is our next guest, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, John Topic. John, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Tonchi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. We believe that you were called in late tonight to work, but you still managed to come on the show. So hopefully there isn't an emergency out there. Otherwise, we may need to cut the interview short. But, mate, tell us all about it. Fantastic result, fantastic achievement. We'll go through the names of the girls shortly. But tell us a little bit about the tournament itself.
Yeah, the tournament was held, as you said, on the Thursday and the Friday last week. It all started with my two daughters. I've got twin girls. They play at Surf Coast. They started recruiting players, some teammates, some girls from school. I ended up getting in touch with Craig Wright, who was the coach of the girls last year at the Country Champs, representing GRFC. And we got together about 10 girls that represented that side last year. And, we took them to the tournament. Great bunch of girls, really talented. And, as you can see, they won on penalty shootout.
Yeah. So we've got players, like we mentioned earlier, from Surf Coast, North Geelong Warriors and Geelong Galaxy. So the girls from Surf Coast, they included your two daughters. Now, I'm going to get this wrong, I'm sure. Ilara and Chava Topic, is that right?
Yeah, my daughter's Ilara and Shava. That's correct.
Ella Fitzgerald, Asha Ryder, Mackenzie Evans, Lulu Rimmer as well. From North Geelong Warriors, there were Alessi Deek, Lillianne Harris, Valentina Kump, Giselle Serayoko, and Summer Wright, Craig's daughter. She was the captain. And then from Geelong Galaxy, we had Hannah Wader, Dusty Colgate, and Indy Cornish. Now, last week on the show, John, we spoke to Steve, or 2 weeks ago when last aired, we spoke to Steve Nikolovsky, the coach of the Geelong Galaxy Under-13s team, and they're doing really well at the moment. So in that demographic, we seem to have a lot of talent here in Geelong with regards to the girls.
Yeah, absolutely. The girls that played from Galaxy, they're unbelievable skill, and there's no doubt. It was not only those girls, but the girls from North Geelong and Surf Coast. We'll be seeing them in the future, representing the state and hopefully moving on even higher up, representing the country. So, lots of talent out there. At Surf Coast, I coach the under-15 girls there where my daughters play. Currently the under-15 girls that play in the Metro League, they're top of the ladder, and we've got an under-13 girls team as well that are top of the ladder. So, as you said, lots of talent in our region. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, no, it is. And you mentioned Craig Wright. Craig, he's been so involved in so many things. How did he find time to help out with you? How much of a contribution did he make as well?
Yeah, Craig's a great help, and I saw the way he coached the girls last year at the tournament, and yeah, he was by my side in the final, giving some useful advice on the sideline. So yeah, he was a great help, and truly he was a part of the team as well.
Yeah. And late last week, I think as well, it was the SAP program up in Melbourne as well. And I had the pleasure of being up there as well, running into Steve Nikolovsky as well, and just seeing some of the girls that are in action as well, some of the boys as well, in that age group, sort of the pre-NPL age group. There's some very, very good talent at the moment coming up through the region. So it's quite exciting. With our previous guest, we spoke about Angus Chapman. We spoke about a lot of the juniors that are doing well. We mentioned the 14 odd boys that are currently in New South Wales for the National Youth Championships. John, we seem to have a lot of talent coming up through the ranks. As a coach and as a father, what do you think? How can we really harness this talent that we've got at the moment, this potential, and ensure that, in 5, in 10, maybe in 15 years, that translates into, very, very good talent at senior level?
Yeah, I think it was mentioned a couple of weeks ago when he was speaking to the Geelong Galaxy coach of the under-13s, just creating that clear pathway for young players, like so they know what they need to achieve and how do they get to that how do they get through those steps to achieve that. And I can see in the region just over the last couple of years, and like one of your show sponsors, Corva, my girls are in that program. They're part of Surf Coast, and I've seen a huge improvement just across the board. The students or the kids that are in that program, their skill, their foot skill, has just improved immensely over the past 6 months, 12 months. So I know Surf Coast in particular, there's over 700 players this year. So I think there was a 30 or 40% uptake in numbers.
Yep.
So, and that seems to be across the whole state. So football is just getting bigger and bigger, and I just hope they can keep up with it.
Just to illustrate, if we're going to just talk about girls, and we're just going to talk about pre-NPL girls, so we're talking about under 12, under 13 age group, just to illustrate the depth of talent, I guess. Your under 13 team obviously went all the way first place, but the under 12 team as well they were runners up. So they got to the final. They didn't win it, but nonetheless, and that's a huge achievement. They were coached by, I think, Drysdale's Grace Hudson, and there's a photo there. I know Drysdale Soccer Club earlier today put a post up and saying 3 of their players were involved in that, and they were coached by their own senior women's player and coach, Grace Hudson, as well. So congratulations as well to the under-12s doing
Yeah,
so well there. It's great to see as well a female footballer at senior level also getting involved in coaching, and we've spoken this many a time. We need to get even more female coaches involved as well. It can't just be dads coaching their daughters, which is great, but we also need to get a lot more, and that's happening slowly, bit by bit, as we could see with the under 12s there. So that's another thing, isn't it? The coaches, we really, like you mentioned, Curva as well, and the girls, the boys, they receive top quality coaching at all of these clinics and performance academies, but we certainly need, as the players grow and the pool of talent grows, we need to also invest in our coaches, don't we?
yeah, absolutely. And I think it's been mentioned in the past. There's lots of people out there and coaches that want to progress even their coaching careers and do courses, but there's just
Mm-hmm.
nothing available. So whether that's Football Victoria or they haven't got enough people to train the coaches up.
Yeah.
But if that was more accessible, there'd be no doubt more people taking that up.
Yeah. But I mean, on the weekend, I think yesterday, in fact, there was a Foundations of Football coaching course, and it was in Ballarat.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't yet seen one being advertised here in Geelong. I may stand corrected, but I went on the Football Geelong website earlier today, and I couldn't find anything that says that there is going to be a coaching course there. So, I mean, we do need more of that. And I guess Football Victoria can put the courses up, but then we do need people to actually sign up for these courses. So it's kind of a bit of a catch-22 situation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And I think, as you were talking about getting more females into the coaching role, I know at Surf Coast, my daughter's the senior women's team. We've got two senior women's teams, and the younger girls look up to them, and they're training with them. The senior women are letting them join their training sessions. So you're just seeing a lot more women joining the soccer club as well and getting around the club.
Yeah. Speaking of Surf Coast, I mean, we spoke to Brett King earlier this year, and there was hopes of having a state league side entered this year in the state league competition. Surf Coast, it didn't eventuate because, and I think in hindsight, it was a brilliant decision. The idea was to solidify the junior ranks and coming up through the ranks so that there is a very very strong, I guess, a production line of talent and potential players. And we've seen North Geelong do that. North Geelong were in state league and they pulled out, and then they've really started developing their juniors from the bottom up, and now they seem to be doing very, very well. And you guys seem to be doing the same in the state, in the junior divisions. Could we possibly see I guess, a resurrection of that idea of next year possibly Surf Coast entering a senior women's team in the state leagues comp?
Yeah, I think it has been mentioned around the club. I don't know too many details of the ins and
Yeah.
outs, but it's definitely so the growth. The club is growing and looking at progressing player development and giving all those players some opportunity to play in better competition and some better leagues. That's for sure.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's great news, and once again, congratulations on the achievement in the Girls Cup at Keilor Park. We certainly look forward to seeing some more of those type of results and achievements, no doubt, in months and years to come.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me.
John, thank you for joining us, and at such short notice. And even though you're at work there, hopefully you won't have to put out any fires. But we really appreciate you taking the time out and coming on the show.